What is really happening behind the closed doors of the Brazilian national team? What must happen for a young genius, the only one capable of saving the five-time world champions, to be completely isolated and rejected by his own teammates? It sounds like an absurd worst-case scenario, but it is Endrick's brutal reality. Let's face the facts and call things by their real names. Vinicius Jr. debuted for the national team 7 years ago, and his goal tally in the yellow shirt is still in the single digits. Meanwhile, Rafinha can consider himself the luckiest man alive. If fans and experts weren't so busy criticizing Vinicius, the world would have noticed long ago that this man hasn't scored a single goal for Brazil in over 446 days.
It's mind-boggling, considering Rafinha scored more goals and assists in his last 4 starts for Barcelona than in his entire past 4 years playing for Brazil. But the crisis runs deeper. Where have the great goal scorers gone? Premier League champion Gabriel Martinelli contributed just a single goal to that entire victorious campaign. Matheus Cunha, another massive talent, also has only 1 career goal for Brazil. With Estevão and Rodrigo ruled out completely by injuries, and Neymar spending 3 of the last 4 years in the treatment room, Brazil is left with Luis Henrique, whose motor skills resemble the clumsy movements of a toddler, and Igor Thiago, who looks like he's playing in heavy work boots when going one-on-one with keepers. And the young Rayan? Before last week, he had never played more than 15 minutes. Why is Endrick denied a real chance from the first minute for nearly 2 years, when 91% of the Brazilian population demands him in the starting lineup? This sudden isolation has absolutely nothing to do with football. Before the drama, this teenager accomplished the impossible. He put the legendary Palmeiras on his own back and single-handedly won the league title, scoring more goals than any other underage player in this century. He won youth tournaments Brazil hadn't managed to secure since the 1980s, proclaimed the second coming of Pelé, and called up as the youngest player since Ronaldo Nazario. His perfect rise deeply bruised the egos of the older players. The first crack was the failure to qualify for the Olympic Games, but blaming a 17-year-old is absurd. Endrick scored or assisted in each of the first 3 qualifiers, and Brazil only lost when the staff rested him against Venezuela. Their final qualification hopes survived solely due to his crucial 88th minute assist while being 3 years younger than everyone else. Yet, behind the scenes, a monster was born. In a bombshell podcast, former international player Vampeta exposed staggering details. Vampeta's co-host revealed a disturbing secret. Since the pre-Olympic tournament, everyone in that locker room blames Endrick. They claim he ostentatiously drew all the media attention exclusively to himself. It reached a point where 22 out of 23 players in the squad genuinely hated him, claiming he killed the team spirit. Fans and managers who showed pure affection to players like Estevão labeled Endrick fake, calling his public persona staged and calculated. A teenage star fell victim to a brutal locker room lynch mob. 2 months after Wembley, Dorival Jr. called Endrick up for a disastrous Copa America. Brazil was dumped out in the very first knockout round with just 1 miserable victory. Then, something distasteful happened. Endrick, who had only played longer than 15 minutes once before, was suddenly thrown into the starting lineup for the do-or-die match. The result? A nightmarish statistic, exactly 1 completed pass over a full 90 minutes. The older players wanted a 17-year-old to redeem their sins, turning him into an undeserved scapegoat. The machine ruthlessly pushed him out. Brazil played 6 more matches that year, but Dorival Jr. subbed him on for more than a quarter of an hour only once, giving his place to Igor Jesus, who received nearly 4 times as much playing time. On the podcast, Vampeta confessed Dorival completely screwed Endrick over because he detested the kid. The other host added, "From what I heard from other players, the boy is just a total pain in the butt." Vampeta nodded. "Everyone says he's annoying as hell." At Real Madrid, the situation looked equally dramatic. Fighting for seconds under Carlo Ancelotti, shining mostly in the Copa del Rey, Endrick couldn't build form for the national team. Then, a severe hamstring injury ruled him out of the Club World Cup, exactly when Xabi Alonso took charge. This allowed Gonzalo Garcia to claim the top scorer crown and secure the number 2 striker position. Coinciding with Ancelotti's departure to Brazil, Endrick missed his first call-up from the new manager. By December, he had a mere 99 minutes under Alonso and just 1 international appearance in 18 months. Former star Zé Roberto openly revealed, when Endrick was completely written off at Real Madrid, not a single one of his Brazilian teammates came out with even a word of support. That tells you everything. Salvation didn't come from his countrymen. Endrick only gathered the courage to leave when his own wife asked, "Do you want to be the player who sits idly for a massive paycheck, or do you want more?" Prompted by those words and Ancelotti's advice to find happiness, Endrick took a colossal risk, an immediate loan to French side Lyon. a team fighting relegation just 6 months prior. The response came immediately. While pundits predicted a difficult adaptation period, Endrick stepped onto the pitch for his debut and, in the 5th minute, unleashed an unbelievable rocket from 35 meters out. Lyon won the match. Endrick was named man of the match, and L'Équipe hailed him as a wonder kid. In the following game, he scored a hat-trick, becoming the youngest player ever to score a hat-trick for Lyon, surpassing the achievements of Ben Arfa, Benzema, Lacazette, Martial, and Fekir. Endrick scored 5 goals in his first 5 matches, sealing the best start by a debutant in French League history. The French Football Federation named him Ligue 1 Player of the Month, despite playing on the right wing, the position where Real Madrid had been most weakened. In March, he opened the game against Marseille with a brilliant assist and added another one before halftime. He also marked his Europa League debut with a goal in the 87th minute. Carlo Ancelotti had no choice. He had to call him back up to the Brazilian national team. The return, however, brought an even greater ordeal. After spending the first match on the bench, Endrick came on against Croatia only as the 8th substitute. With the score level, he made a bursting run into the box and won a penalty. When he wanted to take it himself, the senior players on the bench firmly demanded that he hand the ball over to Thiago. Endrick obeyed, but he answered the team's leaders in the boldest way possible. He bought bis in bifos by providing an assist just moments later. Back at Lyon, results were no longer as impressive. During a run of 9 matches without a win, Paulo Fonseca benched Endrick. He came on, and just 3 minutes later, set up the winning goal. 2 days later, against champions from Paris, he scored in the 5th minute and added an assist. Marca wrote, Endrick has switched into beast mode, while a furious Luis Enrique refused to shake his hand, telling cameras, I ignored him on purpose. Thanks to Endrick's outstanding performances, Lyon finished 3rd in the league, securing their first Champions League qualification in 6 years. Endrick ended 2026 with exactly the same number of goal contributions as Kylian Mbappé himself. This kid has completely blown up all of Ancelotti's tactical plans for the World Cup. The raw statistics tell one clear story. Even Vinicius and Rafinha, at the peak of their powers, did not come close to Endrick's level, and yet Captain Casemiro said openly in an interview, it's good that he went to Lyon, but he's still very young. Let's be realistic, he's not going to break into the starting lineup and solve our problems. He's simply not part of this group. This wasn't just talk. In a recent national team training session, Casemiro ruthlessly lunged at him, wiping him out with a brutal, terrifying sliding tackle from behind. Legend Croc Neto thundered on his TV show, what Casemiro did is scandalous and childish. You don't launch into a teammate's legs like that unless it's personal. As captain, he showed how damn jealous he is of this kid's talent. The country isn't hallucinating. The locker room just can't stand Endrick. Brazilian journalists say that Romario was exactly the same, difficult, isolated, and annoying behind the scenes. But the only thing that matters is the ball at your feet. Will this excluded genius against everyone and everything lead Brazil to gold?